Hello everyone. Good Monday. Tuesday na ba? Tuesday pala, sorry. Sa sobrang daming ulan ng traffic kagabi, medyo nawindang tayo. Good first day of August. I hope this month will be a blessed month for everyone there, and I hope everyone is keeping as much safe and dry as possible. Medyo malabo talagang panahon. It's a pleasure to join you guys again, mga ka-metas, ka-YouTubers, ka-spacers, ka-Haydarians. I really wanted to talk about this issue for quite some time, and I felt today was the perfect time na balikan itong issue na to. And of course, this is the intervention by no less than our good friend, of course, transparency's sake, family friend ito, at of course, mayor of my hometown, and someone who has very rapidly emerged as not only the man of the hour, but increasingly as the leader of the moment. No, more and more people are talking about this person as potentially a next national post legislator, at the very least, if not someone who could vie for one of the top two positions in the government down the road in 2028. No? So ako honestly, of course, being from Baguio, I'm a bit selfish, so I'm gonna say I hope the good mayor sticks around, Mayor Benjamin Magalong, of course, Benji, we call him sa Baguio, Benjamin Magalong. I hope Mayor will stick around for one more term dahil yung aming syudad really needs a lot of improvements after decades of corruption and trapoism and all sorts of kababalakan and kapalpakan pagdating sa governance. With all due respect, no? With all due respect to the previous administrations there, I think Mayor Magalong is doing a fantastic job. Not perfect, but I think he's doing a fantastic job of making people in Baguio realize that the summer capital of the country can always do better. And he has in many ways reminded us of the great potential of the city to be a truly globally competitive, world-class urban center, urban hub in the northern region of the country. No? So I'm very proud about the improvements that have happened over the past few years since Mayor Benjamin Magalong came in. Although, of course, we also had a few good mayors in the past. I'm not saying that all mayors were bad or all mayors were suboptimal, but definitely Mayor Magalong is so far one of the most impressive mayors that Baguio has had in recent memory, especially after nung earthquake nung 1990s. Of course, I was there. I was just toddler, 3-year-old, 4-year, 3-year-old barely, no? And unfortunately, the reconstruction of Baguio went very wrong. It was during the reconstruction of Baguio that many things really went off the rail. The reconstruction process was, alam niya na this. Ay nako, yung mga kalakaran na yan. And permits were given right and left. Houses were built all over the place. Deforestation happened. All sorts of unsustainable, super messy urban anti-planning happened over the past decades since the reconstruction of cities. So very widespread yung malpractice when it comes to the reconstruction of Baguio. So after decades of really underperformance of Baguio becoming even more Cubao than Cubao in terms of traffic, congestion, I think now finally we're moving in the right direction. Walang himala pagdating sa politika. I don't know dun sa maniniwala kay Tatay Digong, but or kay Tatay Trump, yung mga ganyung type na leaders. The reality is that, of course, you have to be patient, you have to be understanding. Lasagna yan eh. Layers and layers of incompetence and corruption and all sorts of kababalakan have contributed to the current state of Baguio. So we're patiently watching what the mayor is doing. So far, he's moving in the right directions on many fronts. But let me zoom out of Baguio be a little bit less selfish about Baguio. As you may know, I had an interview with the good mayor the other year. Medyo extensive yung interview namin, at dun sa interview namin, marami tayong pinag-usapan, no? I say tayo because, you know, a lot of you had the chance of joining us, making comments, making suggestions, raising issues. I was very heartened by the sincerity that the good mayor has showed. I'm very heartened by, you know, of course, the appreciation that he has shown for what we're doing here in terms of raising the level of political education and political discourse in the country, and by extension making us more effective citizens and better contributors to our national development. I really appreciate it, so please check that out. But one thing that really stood out for me is how Mayor Magalong, and I'm very happy to talk about this right now because I'm finally seeing the recognition that I believe mayors like him deserve. There's so many other mayors, sir. Mayor of Iloilo, among others. I can talk about a lot of mayors all across the country, but of course, I don't know them as much as I know Benji Magalong, Mayor Magalong. So I know that there are many great LGU leaders across the country, but in the case of Mayor Magalong, I think he really had this coming in a good way. No, I think he really deserved this. And now seeing him trending on Twitter, now seeing more and more people talking about him, it heartens me. It heartens me not because it's about someone who's a family friend or a mayor of our city. No, it's because I see appreciation for the brand of leadership he's putting forward. At kung titignan mo yung brand of leadership ni Mayor Magalong, it's very post-partisan. I won't say post-ideological because I think there's still an ideology of good governance there. Pero post-partisan siya because pag tinignan mo si Mayor Magalong, hindi siya pumapasok dun sa debate ng Dilawan versus Pula versus TDS versus Marcos. No, I never saw him going ganyan, kahit ano, going like that kay Tatay Digong. I never saw him talagang all the way praising Marcos. I never saw him also trying to chumps with the opposition in an ingratiating way. No, I never saw him like that. He always kept his dignity. He always kept a healthy distance from all of those partisan debates. More important, I would say, he has also kept himself above moral posturing, virtue signaling, cancel culture, pa-woke, all of the nonsense out there. He has kept himself out of that because for him, katulad ng sinabi na dun sa interview natin, na pinost natin over Twitter, andyan naman sa YouTube, among others, you can check it out. I'll post it again dun sa mga kameta, ka-YouTubers natin. But our friends in Twitter have already seen that. I already posted it there. If you look at our interview, he was very adamant that the kind of leadership we need is a leadership whereby you focus on delivery of basic services. Competence. Husay po. Husay. Yun ang dapat focus. Hindi yung ako yung malinis. Hindi yung nagmamalinis. Hindi yung within 6 months ayusin ko lahat ng problema, yung mga scammy style na ganyan politics. Hindi yung pa-populist na ibibigay lang sa inyo para lang matuwa kayo, throwing out the red meat or dangling the red meat, making politics like Colosseum. So neither populist nor self-righteous, right? Neither populist nor self-righteous. Not authoritarian, but authoritative. You see, there's a big difference. Authoritarian means kahit bara-bara, kahit bobo-bobo, kahit go nang go, basta makinig kayo sa akin dahil ako yung leader nyo. That's the authoritarian way. The authoritative way is you do it consultative, you work with the experts, and katulad ng sinabi ni Mayor sa akin over and over again, evidence-based public policy. And you also put your conviction behind it. So there should be conviction politics. Dapat may conviction ka. Dapat you have to be firm. But it has to be based not only on gut feeling or tatay sensibilities. No, it has to be based on evidence-based public policy. 21st century. Dapat may siyensya. Dapat may plano. Dapat may vision. Dapat may methodology. Dapat may ebidensya. Hindi yung bara-bara lang. Right? That's authoritative leadership. So, very different siya dun sa authoritarian. Authoritarian, basta sumunod lang kayo. Huwag kayong kumontra. Basta, yun yung authoritarian. Kahit bara-bara, kahit bobo-bobo, basta sumunod lang kayo. No. Authoritative is different. Authoritative means you follow me because you trust me. And you trust me not because you just trust and love me, because you trust the process by which I arrive at my decisions. There is consultation, there's respect, there's evidence, there's expertise, there's due diligence. All of those things that Mayor Magalong embodied throughout decades and decades of public service. Whether at the highest levels in the Philippine National Police or whether in the corporate world as a kind of a corporate, big shot guy. Although he eventually left very lucrative life in the corporate world, the steel industry, and he continued public service and serving, of course, my beloved city, Baguio. All right? So, this is, for me, this is the leadership of the moment. I'm not talking about Mayor Magalong per se. I think Mayor Magalong, let's see what's gonna happen in the coming years. I'm more than happy to share my own understanding of how good he has been and how effective he has been. Not perfect, obviously, not sinless. No one is perfect. But my thing is, there's just something about Mayor Magalong that perfectly fits what we have been talking about for the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years, right? Ang hinahanap ng taong bayan po ay hindi self-righteousness. Ang hinahanap po ng taong bayan po ay hindi yung bara-bara. Well, unfortunately, one of them got away with things. But at least for now, let's see with the ICC. But going back to this, ang hinahanap po ng taong bayan, this is very clear. Not in the Google Trends, not in yung mga dodgy analytics. No. Ang hinahanap po ng tao is husay, competence, the ability to deliver competently basic goods, basic services, yung mga pinakapangunahin na pangangailangan ng taong bayan. From law and order, hindi yung patay ka ng patay. Hindi. Law and order, there's an order and there's law, right? Hindi lang bara-bara, di ba? Hindi lang EJK right and left. No. There's law, there's order, but there's also competence in terms of coming up with a broader, bigger vision for the country. Katulad ng mga discussion natin before, I agree. Let's wait. Let's still wait. Mayor Magalong still has a few years to give to Baguio City if he's gonna serve full 3 terms. I think he's in a very good position to win one more term or third term na ba yan? Second term. I think second term pa lang niya, di ba? I think the mayor is in a very good place to just finish the full 3 terms so that close to a decade he serves the city, leave his mark, and then I think we can look at his Exhibit A. But so far, ang masasabi ko dito is this. He is the perfect embodiment of a post-partisan, post-ideological, no-nonsense, non-authoritarian, non-bara-bara, but very methodological, evidence-based, authoritative, modern 21st century style of leadership. He hasn't promised miracle in Baguio. He didn't say, pag akong mayor in 3 to 6 months, ganito, ganyan. No, wala siyang mga kalokohan na ganyan. And of course, years into office, the Baguio City is still coping with the effect of pandemic. Alam niyo naman, ang Baguio syudad namin ay very tourist dependent. So, we're recovering Baguio. But what I can say is that you can look all over the city and you will see problems. Sure, 100%. We're not denying problems. But you're also going to see green shoots. You're going to see evidence of the city moving in the right direction. And if there's one person that we have to give a lot of credit to, is Mayor Magalong. And we know that Mayor Magalong is not doing this alone. Mayor Magalong is working with competent staff, with competent people. He's getting his inspiration from the people. We know that Mayor Magalong, when he ran for the mayor office, he didn't do the Trapo style. He didn't go all over the place, give freebies here, gives freebie there, or give, alam niya na this. Hindi siya nag-tarpaulin, nag-billboard. No. He kept it clean, he kept it lean, he kept it mean, and he made it all the way. He won by huge margin. My city, I'm very proud of my fellow Baguio people. They did a fantastic job of voting for the right person. We defeated Trapo politics when Mayor Magalong won re-election. And I'm 100% proud of that. And as I said, what makes me hopeful about this country is that I know hindi nag-iisa si Mayor Magalong. He is part of a movement. And speaking of a movement, let me make an announcement here. So kanina morning lang, pagising natin, we had a message from some good friends of ours. So an initiative is being led by Mayor Magalong. And I hope not to take credit, but I hope in one way or another, the conversation I've had with him, the things that I suggested, perhaps may have contributed to this. Again, I'm not credit grab or anything like that. But I know Mayor Magalong was under a lot of pressure, was dealing with a lot of problems throughout the years. But I know I want the mayor to know that maraming sumusuporta sa kanya. And many people appreciate what he's doing. And now I see the mayor, the good mayor, is taking the lead. He's taking the lead, right, in pushing for a new initiative. Not only in Baguio, but all across the Philippines. So this is the initiative, mga kameta, mga ka-spacers, mga ka-YouTubers. The initiative is called Mayors for Good Governance. Alright? Mayors for Good Governance. At so far, yung mga kasama dito, Mayor Josefina Belmonte, Joy, right? Si Joy Belmonte. Mayor Benjamin Magalong. Mayor Romel Arnado. Mayor City Hataman. And Mayor Felipe Remolyo. So, at least 5 mayors so far signed up to this. I have my fervent wish is other great mayors, including Mayor Vico Soto, among others, will also join this. Our good mayors in Manila and other cities. So this is the initiative. Let me post it here, mga kameta, kay Darians, check niyo yan. There will be a launching event before the end of this month. Again, in some place which is close to my heart. Of course, UP, where I work, when I teach. So ito po, yung initiative of the good mayor, Mayor Magalong, along with Mayor Joy Belmonte, Mayor Alnado, Mayor Hataman, Mayor Remolio. So we have many, many good mayors all across the country coming together, working together, trying to inspire a new movement all together. Men, guys, ito talagang kailangan natin eh. Itong kailangan natin. As much as we have to fight against Tatay style of politics, as much as we have to struggle against historical amnesia and whitewashing and all of the shenanigans out there, I get it. We also have to support initiatives that focus on providing efficient, competent, 21st century, modern at malinis na governance. Yun po ang kailangan natin. So please, sino ba naman ako, di ba, to say na, I mean, I'm not in a position to vouch 100% all of these people are sinless. No one is sinless, right? I don't, but from what I know, from the little that I know, is that whether you look at Mayor Belmonte, whether you look at Mayor Magalong, no, these are the representation of what the Filipino people like, and you could argue also the representation of what the Filipino people need, especially our country needs at this moment. Hindi na po gagana yung estilo na self-righteous style lang. Hindi na rin gagana, well, yung style na bara-bara lang, no? Authoritarian dictatorship style. None of those things are gonna work, all right? And as far as BBM is concerned, President Marcos Jr. is concerned, I hope that he continues on the right path when it comes to foreign policy. I hope that he continues to steer clear of authoritarian populist style of politics. But I hope also he'll become decisive and push for good governance, including against corruption, which is what has made Mayor Magalong the man of the moment, and for some people, the leader of the moment, because he has taken up the cudgels in terms of fighting against corruption by pointing out na gaano kamalala yung problema ng corruption sa ating bayan. Now, obviously, the context of this is yung proposal for pension reform sa ating sandatahang lakas or military uniform personnel. No, if you want to know more about it, check out my article. I already posted that on Asia Times just the other day. So let me just give you a heads up on that so that we can discuss it a bit further. So you understand where is Mayor Magalong coming. Mayor Magalong emphasized the issue of corruption and how much money we could save, how much more public services we could deliver if as much as para sinasabi, okay lang, sige, tutulong kami para hindi mabigatan ang taong bayan, hindi magkaroon ng fiscal crisis dahil dito sa pension ng military and police. But at the same time, we also have to look at other problems that are keeping us or preventing us from creating fiscal sustainability. So, ito po yung konteksto, no? So, about a month ago, more than 3 weeks ago, the good mayor had an interview on the Chiefs on One News, where of course, which is also my home, and pinag-usapan itong pension reform issue at prospect of fiscal collapse. Now, this is what the mayor had to say. Let me emphasize this. Because now he's getting some bashing from some of the legislators. Hindi naman sila pinangalan. Bakit defensive biglang iba? Ewan ko na. But this is it. Pakinggan nyo ito ha. Ito yung sinabi ni Mayor Magalong dun sa interview niya, dun sa mga ating kapatid, dyan sa One News, sa The Chiefs. Sabi niya, I had the chance to talk to several contractors. So ang konteksto dito yung mga infrastructure projects sa Baguio, etc. I asked them, assuming that I will take cuts from infrastructure projects, sabihin natin, paano kung trapo ako? How much will it be? And they said about 10 to 15 or 20 to 25% depending on the decision of the mayors and the lawmakers. Right? Sabi niya, nag-reveal siya na yung members of Bids and Awards Committee potentially allegedly nag-receive ng commissions, as do other individuals involved in decision-making for projects. Ayon kay Mayor, only about 45% to 52% will be left dun sa actual project na kailangan implement ng contractors. In short, if the project is worth 100 million pesos, they said, sir, they will have to settle for 42 million or 55 million, including doon yung kanilang profit that will... So, ang mangyari dyan is they will be forced to make substandard projects. Kaya nga palpak yung mga roads natin, palpak yung mga bridge natin, palpak yung projects natin, ang dami pera na pupunta sa projects. Minsan, maayos na nga yung kalsada, inuulit pa, ginagawa pang mas pangit. So the way they dispose of it is institutional, meaning systemic na po ito. Ito problema na to ay malala na, systemic na po to. Sabi niya, Some congressmen have several projects and roads, but the bidding was rigged. You can check the profile of some legislators and LGU executives. Many of them are contractors and suppliers themselves. They get a percentage and they also get the projects as contractors. Sarap ng buhay. Sarap ng buhay. So, why did the good mayor mention this? The good mayor mentioned this because ang sinasabi niya, yes, tanggap namin na kailangan, kasi pensionado din siya bilang member of the military uniform personnel as a former police deputy chief. Ito kasi yung context. So, of course, sinabi ni Secretary Jokno, na the Philippines could face a fiscal collapse if yung annual yearly pension payout dun sa MUP is allowed to continue. For this year, yung MUP pension natin is estimated at 213 billion pesos. That's around $4 billion, $3.8 billion. But that could reach 1 trillion. 1 trillion pesos within a decade. Right? I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. So sabi naman ni Magalong, as a retired police general, sabi niya, willing naman siya to contribute a reasonable percentage of our pension to the national government, but nothing we heard from our legislators that they are willing to give up on their pork barrel. Alam natin itong katotohanan, yung corruption is what? 600, 700, ito may pag-aaral na tayo dito, no? Annually, this is not rocket science, this is not a secret, no? So, yung cost ng corruption sa Pilipinas could be in hundreds of billions of dollars, no? The Philippines rank 150th in the world, no? Dun sa corruption index. Ito. 700 billion pesos annually nawawala sa corruption. Ito pa kasi yung sinasabi. Ito. Ayan, 700 billion pesos ang nawawala dahil sa corruption annually. So, ang sinasabi ni Magalong, okay, ayusin natin pension na yan. Pero kung sana, ayusin din natin ang corruption, ang dami natin resources. 700 billion, which is 3 times more than the current total pension allocation doon sa military uniform personnel. Ito, hindi ako nagsabi yan. Galing mismo yan sa government officials. 700 billion pesos annually nawawala dahil sa corruption. Okay? Ang laking pera yan. At what makes it bad is that you also get substandard projects. Right? So ito, this is 2019 pa. So, alam niyo na, baka makaano na ngayon, di ba? Kung 2019 pa, 700 billion. Ito yung sinabi dati ng National Police Commission. Ito yung Deputy Ombudsman Siler Ramos. Ito yung sinabi niya dun sa isang event na National Police Commission Summit. Sabi niya, we need to keep reminding ourselves how destructive corruption is, especially for developing countries like ours. Yung amount niya minention niya na with that amount, no Filipino would get hungry. Kung sana ma-save natin itong 700 billion pesos na pupunta sa corruption back in 2019. We don't know the numbers now. I mean, it could be worse. Kaya nga, President Marcos Jr. has all the right to look into the pension reform issue. But tama rin si Mayor Magalong. We have to look into the issue of corruption. And so far, we are yet to hear from President Marcos Jr. a really robust, systematic, long-term plan to deal with the issue of corruption so that we can cut down this $700 billion pesos na napupunta sa corruption. So ito po yung konteksto ng sinasabi ni Mayor Magalong. So I don't understand bakit yung iba galit na galit sa kanya, or baka exactly we understand why, bakit galit na galit yung iba sa kanya. When he makes perfect point. He's not pointing out anything that is not known to us. We have government officials themselves. We have international bodies openly telling us that we have a serious fundamental corruption problem in this country. And we're losing hundreds of billions of pesos annually. Annually lang, ha? So trillions yan over the years, over the course of a single administration, if we deal with an issue of corruption. So hamon yan ni Mayor Magalong sa ating leadership. It's not pointed at a single person or two. Ayon nga sa kanya, it's institutionalized. It's a systemic problem. So this is what I like about Mayor Magalong, right? Calls a spade, right? Of course, he's not in the business of pointing finger at one person per se. What he's saying is that we need a systematic plan to deal with it. And alam natin, when it comes to dealing with corruption, it's not just a moral issue. It's a policy issue. You have to create the right incentives so that politicos or contractors or whatever, will have minimal reasons to engage in dodgy stuff, right? You have to increase punishment for corruption, and you have to increase incentives food good governance. So on that note, maraming salamat sa ating mga supporters dito na nanonood sa atin. I hope everyone is listening to what we're saying here, because I think what we're talking about here matters to all of us. Whoever you support, whoever is your president, whoever you voted in the last elections, whoever you want to vote in the future or you voted in the past, all of us agree that good governance is what we need. But what do you mean by good governance? Competence, authoritativeness, evidence-based, and clean, malinis. And these are the elements that we see with a lot of mayors in the country, right? Hopefully more and more. And that's why we have to support itong initiatives coming out, including Mayors for Good Governance initiative that will be launched in Cine Adarna, UP Film Center, UP Diliman, 2 to 5 p.m. Thursday on August 24th. 5 mayors will be the conveners of that. But the hope of these folks is that this will be the beginning of a new movement. Whoever you like, this is not about partisanship. This is not about sino kilala natin, anong cut natin dyan. This is about a better Philippines. Dapat di tayo mawala ng pag-asa. As long as we have good mayors, good leaders, fighting for the good cause, we have to continue this fight. We have every reason to fight for the better Philippines. On that note, thank you very much, everyone. I hope you appreciated our discussion today. Very, very kind of you. And talk to you soon. Let me just see kung may mga umaangal ba dito. Ayan. I can see naman very positive yung mga comments. Thank you again sa lahat. Kay Lorenzo Legisniana, Madrigal Heya, thank you very much for comments. Ito, sabi ni Teddy Santiago, mga senador magbibigay. Well, sabi ni Bato is willing to help dun sa pension issues since he's also a beneficiary. Salamat kay Ma'am Jocelyn, salamat kay Bobby Sarmiento, kay Jonathan Ranyola, Deja Carian, dami ng comment. Sir Kenneth Colminar, thank you very much also. Thank you for joining us. And Andrew Paras, Noli Wed, salamat sa inyong lahat. I'll appreciate it. I'll get back to you guys later on. Kay Riz Ani, I hope we continue this conversation and please continue support. May pag-asang bayan natin kung mag-effort tayo at kung supportahan natin yung mga tamang leaders at tamang klase ng leadership. Alright? Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate that. Dito rin sa mukhang is he going to run for Senate? Sabi ni Manikin Coladilla. Well, let's just hope he does his job first in Baguio so that may perfect exhibit A tayo. And honestly, I'd rather have people like him serving in executive offices, VP, president, those kinds of positions. No? Although, if he goes to Senate, he's going to be the next Panfilo Lacson, in my sense, better version. Thank you very much on that, and talk to you guys soon. Maraming salamat dito also sa mga ating supporters sa YouTube. Thank you very much kay Cesar Hironelia, Chicabal Pogi, kay Ma'am Victoria Baltazar, thank you so much for your kind support. Appreciate kay Dennis Espirito. Ayan, excited na siya kay Mayor, kay Noy Mitzablada as always, kay Joe Chalon. Thank you very much sa inyo. Salamat and God bless.